Have you ever noticed something strange about the people around you? The ones who are really good at getting what they want. The ones who seem to always end up on top. They are rarely the ones who shout the loudest. They are rarely the ones who get into big arguments or lose their temper in public. They stay calm, almost too calm, while you are the one who starts to feel the pressure building inside. They say very little, maybe just a few words, while you find yourself talking more and more, trying to explain your side of things. And then, after the conversation is over, you walk away with a strange feeling. You feel like you lost something. You feel like you gave up your ground, but you cannot quite figure out how it happened or when it happened. It is a confusing and frustrating feeling. That is the secret to how dirty players operate. They do not win by fighting you directly. They win by controlling how you react to them. The real moment the power shifts is the moment you feel you have to defend yourself. The moment you feel you need to clarify what you meant, or prove that your point is valid, or explain your intentions so they understand you better. That is when the control quietly slips out of your hands and into theirs. Most people go through their whole lives not realizing this simple truth. They think that having influence means knowing the perfect words to say. They think if they could just find the right argument, they could win. But the real secret is much deeper and much more powerful. Real influence does not come from saying the right things. It comes from knowing exactly when to say nothing at all. This idea, this understanding of how power really works, is at the heart of what thinkers like Machiavelli were talking about. He studied how people gain control and how they lose it. He saw clearly that people show their weak spots through their emotions. When you get emotional, when you feel urgency, when you feel this desperate need to be understood by the other person, you are showing them exactly where to push. The more you react to what someone says or does, the easier you are to predict. And being predictable is the worst thing you can be when you are dealing with someone who is trying to manipulate you. It is exactly what they are waiting for. They are not looking to beat you in a fight. They are just waiting for you to start talking. They are waiting for you to rush your words. They are waiting to see where the pressure affects you the most. That is their doorway in. Think about the world today, whether it is at your job, in your group of friends, or just in regular conversations you have every day. The person who does most of the talking is often the easiest person to control. They are giving away information. They are showing their cards. Meanwhile, the quiet person in the room, the one who is just watching and listening, is collecting information. They are watching how you react. They are in control of their own feelings. And without any fighting or loud voices, they are slowly shifting the balance of power in their favor. Why does this work? Because silence creates uncertainty. When you are quiet, the other person does not know what you are thinking. They do not know if you agree or disagree. They do not know if you are angry or happy. And that uncertainty makes them cautious. It makes them slow down. It makes them think twice about their next move. This whole discussion is about that specific kind of power. It is about learning how to outsmart the dirty players in your life without getting into arguments. It is about staying calm when they try to upset you. It is about saying less, not more. And here is my promise to you. If you keep reading until the very end, you will not just understand the idea of silence, you will learn exactly how to use it, like a secret weapon. You will start to feel calmer when you are under pressure. You will become harder for people to figure out. And you will become much more difficult for anyone to push around or manipulate. Before we go any deeper into these ideas, I want you to do something. Right now in your mind, or even out loud, say these words to yourself. My silence is my power. It is a simple statement, but it is the foundation for everything that follows. Let us start with the first big idea. Silence is a tool that exposes what people are really trying to do. A lot of people think that being silent means you are being weak or passive. They think you are just letting things happen to you. But that is not true at all. In reality, silence puts pressure on the other person. Dirty players, the ones who try to manipulate, they need you to interact with them. That is how their game works. They will say something to bother you. They will ask a tricky question. They will create a little bit of confusion or doubt. They are not doing this because they want to have a real conversation. They are doing it to get a reaction out of you. Because the moment you react with emotion, they learn something valuable. They learn what bothers you. They learn what you care about most. They learn how quickly you get angry or upset. They learn how much self-control you actually have. But when you do not react, when you stay quiet, something unexpected happens. The pressure in the room changes direction. Instead of you feeling like you have to handle the situation, they are the ones who start to feel unsure. Silence takes away their feedback. They cannot tell if their little comment worked or not, and without that feedback, their whole plan falls apart. They do not know what to do next. Think about how a typical manipulation attempt works. Someone makes a little comment. Maybe it is about your work. Maybe it is about a choice you made. Maybe it is a question that makes you look bad in front of other people. Most people right away will start to explain themselves. They will defend their decision. They will try to correct what the other person said. And that is the exact moment when control changes hands. Because now you are playing their game. You are reacting inside the little trap they set for you. But if you stay calm and you say nothing at all, their little trap stops working. They do not know if you even noticed what they said. They do not know if you agree with them. They do not know if you are offended. They have no idea what you are going to do next. That feeling of not knowing, that uncertainty, it forces them to do something. They feel like they have to fill the empty space. They have to say something else. And this is where their real plan starts to become visible. People always show more of themselves when they feel like they are being ignored than when they feel like they are being challenged. They will start talking more. They will repeat the same point again. They will add extra details that they did not need to share. Sometimes they will get impatient. Sometimes they will get a little defensive. Sometimes they will try even harder than they planned to. What started as a small test for you turns into a moment where they expose themselves. This is why silence is not the same as avoiding a problem. It is a way of watching and learning. Instead of jumping in and interrupting what is happening, you let it play out. Instead of reacting to the little things they do on the surface, you watch for the bigger patterns. You watch how their voice changes. You watch their body language. You see if they try to push harder. You notice if they say one thing now that is different from what they said 5 minutes ago. All of this information becomes clear when you do not get in the way. Dirty players depend on quick emotional reactions. They expect you to feel uncomfortable. They expect you to explain yourself. They expect you to fight back or give in. They do not expect you to just sit there, calm and quiet. When you are still like that, it breaks their rhythm. And when their rhythm is broken, they start making mistakes. There is another important thing that happens when you stay silent. It helps you control your own emotions. When you do not speak right away, you give your own feelings a moment to settle down. You move from just reacting without thinking to making a real choice about what you want to do. This one change makes a huge difference in your position. Instead of being pulled into their schedule, their timing, you start to operate on your own timing. And having control over timing is a big part of having power. The strongest people in any situation are not the ones who respond the fastest. They are the ones who respond the most carefully, after they have had a moment to think. Silence also protects your personal information. Every single word you say tells people something about you. It tells them what is important to you. It tells them what you are afraid of. It tells them what you plan to do next. When you talk less, you give people less material to work with. You give them less to analyze and use against you. You become harder for them to understand. And when someone cannot understand you, they cannot predict what you will do. That unpredictability makes them be more careful around you. This is the hidden benefit of staying quiet on purpose. You are not hiding. You are collecting information. You are not losing influence. You are changing where the influence sits. Because the person who talks first is showing their position. The person who stays quiet is showing nothing, but they are learning everything. Once you really get good at this, your conversations will change. The way power works between you and other people will change. And most importantly, you will stop feeling pressure and start letting pressure work for you. Now let us talk about the second idea. It is about controlling the speed of things. Dirty players do not just rely on your emotions. They also rely on how fast you move. They create a feeling of urgency. They push you for quick answers. They want you to react immediately, because when you go fast, you do not think as clearly. When you feel rushed, you do not pay close attention to what is really going on. You do not think about your strategy. You just react automatically, and automatic reactions are easy to predict. When you are predictable, you are easy to guide. You are easy to pressure. You are easy to use. This is why being in control of your own pace is one of the strongest quiet advantages you can build. A lot of people think that confidence means answering right away. They think a quick response shows you are smart and in charge. But the truth is, reacting instantly often shows that you are under emotional pressure. It shows that the situation is controlling you, not the other way around. When you deliberately slow things down, you send a very different message. It shows that you are stable. It shows that you have self-control. It shows that you are not going to dance to their music. And timing, as we said, is where the real influence lives. Dirty players often make up emergencies that are not real. A sudden demand, a request for a quick decision, a message that seems like it needs an answer right now. Their goal is not to get things done faster. Their goal is to stop you from thinking clearly. When you slow down, their plan gets weaker. A pause creates space in the conversation, and that space gives you clarity. In that short pause, you start to notice things you would have missed. You notice their tone of voice. You notice what they are really trying to do. You notice the hidden pressure they are putting on you. You start to see if the situation is real or if it is something they made up to trick you. But the effect on their mind is even stronger. When you do not answer them right away, they start to feel uncertain. They start thinking to themselves, did my plan work? Did they notice what I was doing? Are they upset? Are they thinking about something? What are they going to do next? That uncertainty, that doubt, it shifts the emotional weight back onto them. Now they are the ones who are managing their own worries, instead of you managing theirs. This is how silence and timing work together as a team. You are not ignoring them. You are just waiting for the moment that gives you the strongest position. Another good thing about slowing down is that it helps you stay emotionally neutral. When you wait, your first strong feelings have time to calm down. You move from acting on impulse to acting with intention. Decisions that you make when you are calm are much harder for other people to twist, to challenge, or to undo. Dirty players depend on you being emotional right in the moment. They want your frustration, your fear, or your need to defend yourself to be the thing that guides your actions. Time takes the heat out of your emotions, and when the heat is gone, their power over you goes away too. There is also an effect on how other people see you. People who react instantly start to look like they are always reactive. People who take their time start to look like they are deliberate and thoughtful. Everyone around you will start to associate calm timing with authority. Over time, other people will approach you more carefully because they learn that you cannot be rushed. Controlling your pace also stops you from leaking information. Quick responses often tell people what your priorities are and where you feel pressure. Responses that you have thought about tell people very little. The less other people can see your urgency, the less they can control your choices. This does not mean you have to delay everything or become distant and cold. It means you refuse to operate on someone else's emotional clock. You respond when you are ready. You decide when you have clarity. You move when the timing makes your position stronger, because the person who controls the pace controls the direction of the whole interaction. Speed helps the person applying pressure. Timing helps the person with real power. Once you stop reacting on demand, dirty players lose one of their strongest tools, and when they cannot rush you anymore, they cannot steer you anymore either. The third idea is about keeping your emotional temperature hidden. Dirty players do not start by studying your words. They start by studying your emotions. They watch your face. They listen to your tone. They look at your body language. They feel your energy, because your emotions are like signals. The moment someone knows what makes you feel something, they know where to apply pressure. If they see you get frustrated, they know they touched a nerve. If they see you get anxious, they know there is pressure inside you. If they see you get defensive, they know you feel exposed or weak. And once they find that emotional button, they will push it again and again. This is why staying emotionally neutral is one of the most powerful, quiet defenses you can build. A lot of people think that being honest means showing how you feel all the time. But in situations where people are competing, where there is a power dynamic, showing your emotions becomes information, and that information becomes a weakness that others can use. Dirty players often test you in small ways to see your emotional reactions. They might make a comment that dismisses you. They might take a long time to answer you. They might say something that goes against what you just said. They are not always trying to win the argument right then. They are measuring you. They are asking one silent question in their head. What is the thing that makes this person move? If you react in a way they can see, you just gave them the answer. But when your emotional temperature stays the same, when you are steady, their testing does not give them any data. They cannot tell if what they did worked. They cannot tell if they should try harder or change their approach. Now they are the ones with uncertainty. They are the ones who are not sure what to do. Controlling your emotions is not about pretending you do not feel things. It is about managing what you let other people see. You might feel irritated inside. You might feel disappointed or worried. But on the outside, your response stays calm, measured, and the same as it was before. This steadiness creates a kind of mental friction for anyone trying to influence you. People expect that if they push you, you will react. They expect a cause and an effect. When that effect does not happen, their sense of control starts to slip. They start to adjust what they are doing. They become more cautious. They start to wonder if their approach is even working. Another big benefit of being emotionally neutral is that it keeps your own thinking clear. When you do not react on the outside, you stay mentally detached from the situation. Instead of getting pulled into the emotional drama of the conversation, you are just watching it happen. You notice when they are trying to make things worse. You notice the patterns of manipulation. You notice when their behavior changes. This distance, this separation, gives you awareness. If you show your emotions, if you get pulled in, your focus shifts from watching to defending. And when you are defending, you are not thinking strategically anymore. There is also a long-term effect on your reputation. People who cannot read your emotional state become more careful around you. They avoid putting unnecessary pressure on you because they cannot predict what will happen. They do not know what bothers you and what does not. They do not know how far they can go. This uncertainty creates a kind of respect. This does not mean you have to be cold or unfriendly. It means you are stable. Your reactions are choices, not accidents. Your tone does not change when you are under pressure. Your presence feels the same, no matter what is happening around you. Being stable makes you hard to influence. And being hard to influence raises your position without you having to fight anyone. Dirty players rely on emotional feedback to adjust what they do. Take that feedback away, and their ability to steer the interaction just disappears. Because when your emotional temperature is under your control, other people cannot find your weak spots. And when they cannot find your weak spots, they cannot control where things go. Now let us move to the fourth idea. It is about letting other people talk so much that they accidentally reveal everything. Most people think that having influence means saying the right thing at the right time. But in reality, influence often comes from saying very little and letting the other person do most of the talking. Dirty players depend on being in control of the story. They want to guide where the conversation goes. They want to shape what other people think. They want to control what information is seen and what is hidden. But this control only works when the conversation is balanced, when both sides are talking, explaining, and reacting to each other. The moment you stop talking as much, the balance tips. Silence creates empty space in a conversation, and most people feel uncomfortable when there is empty space. They do not like the silence. When there is no immediate response from you, people will naturally try to fill that gap. They will add more details. They will say the same thing again in different words. They will explain things that nobody even asked about. Sometimes they will even tell you things they originally planned to keep secret. This is not some trick you are playing on them. It is just how human minds work. Silence creates a little bit of mental tension, and that tension makes people talk more. Dirty players are especially easy to catch with this method, because they usually try to be very careful with their words. They measure what they say. They have a plan, but when they feel like the conversation is slipping away from them, when they feel like they are losing control, they start to overcompensate. They explain more than they need to. They push harder than they planned. They bring up new points too quickly. They might even say something that goes against what they said earlier, without even realizing it. What started as a careful, controlled conversation turns into a moment where they show their whole hand. Most people stop this process from happening because they respond too early. They jump in to challenge what was said. They defend themselves right away. They try to pull the conversation back in a different direction. And by doing that, they let the pressure out. The key is to hold back. When someone says something that seems wrong or questionable, you do not have to argue with them immediately. Just a calm pause, a moment of silence can be much stronger than any argument you could make. When someone gives you a weak explanation for something, you do not need to attack it right away. Just be silent. Let them keep going. Their weakness will become clear on its own. Another useful tool is giving very small responses. Just a short word here and there, a neutral look on your face, simple questions that encourage them to keep talking, like "tell me more," or "what do you mean by that?" You are not trying to fight them. You are not trying to challenge them. You are just keeping the information flowing. The more they talk, the more patterns you will see. You will notice changes in their tone. You will hear them getting defensive. You will hear them explaining things too much. You will catch small things that do not add up. All of these signals become visible when you stop trying to compete for control of the conversation. You are not reacting. You are just watching. There is also a strategic advantage to this. The more a person talks, the more they mentally invest in their own version of what happened. They start to believe it more. That investment often makes them say stronger things. They take firmer positions. They make riskier statements. And the stronger their position gets, the easier it is for other people to see the flaws in it. Over time, people who interact with you will start to notice something different about you. Conversations around you will become more careful. Other people will choose their words more deliberately because they know you are not rushing to speak. You are listening, you are analyzing, and you are remembering. Just listening creates a quiet kind of authority. Dirty players expect you to either fight back or give in. They rarely expect you to just be patient. They rely on emotional movement. They rely on you reacting. They do not expect controlled stillness. When you let them talk without interrupting them, they lose control of how fast the conversation is moving. They lose control of its structure. They lose their own restraint. And eventually, they will tell you more than they ever meant to, because the person who speaks less is the one who really controls the space, and the person who controls the space controls what becomes visible to everyone. Remember that being in control of others starts with being in control of yourself. When you stop explaining, stop justifying, and stop reacting just because someone wants you to, you take your power back. When you walk away on purpose, when you watch without interrupting, when you limit what you show, you build a position of strength that no manipulation can break through. You do not need to win every little argument. You do not need to prove your intentions to everyone. You do not need to correct every wrong idea someone has about you. What really matters is your own alignment, your own clarity, your own ability to stay calm while everyone else around you is reacting and rushing. So move forward quietly, act with intention, let other people wear themselves out against your calm restraint, because influence is earned through composure, And the kind of power that no one can touch is always revealed in silence. Now take a moment and say this to yourself one more time. I am untouchable.